Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? So check this out, right? What I wanted to talk about today is this generation has a sense of entitlement, right? Like, so many people think that you're supposed to do just because you're supposed to do. Like, it's a one-sided relationship, right? And they think like you've worked hard to get to where you're at. So their sense of entitlement, because you worked hard, you're just supposed to help them. But it's a one-sided transaction, right? Because there's no give and take, right? And, we use these analogies and everything. I say this all the time. The Bible can be manipulated to magnify how you feel or when you're trying to get a point across. See, we say something like, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me, right? And we say that about everything, right? And it's true. Sometimes God will show up and show out. But even that relationship is a transactional relationship. You see, when, let's just say, your rent is due, and you're like, okay, yeah, my rent is due. I need to do this, that, and the other, right? But you didn't went on vacations. You didn't bought all of the clothes. But at the end of the month, you expect God to show up and show out. But it's one-sided. You have not done anything transactional. What is your prayer life like? How are you treating others? It's a one-sided relationship, right? And just like, I'll use myself as an example, right? There was a time that, I looked at things from a certain perspective, right? Like, Friday was my birthday. And back in the day, I used to really go through and see who didn't wish me happy birthday. This is how petty, and this is just me being transparent. I used to look and see how many people did not tell me happy birthday. And then in my head, I would say, okay, I ain't messing with them no more. I ain't messing with them no more. You know what I'm saying? All of the stuff that I've done for them and this, that, and other, and you can't wish me a happy birthday. That's how I was. But then I started, really looking at myself in the mirror, right? And I've been doing this, social media thing for a long time. A long time. And even when I would post stuff, I would look and see who didn't share it, who didn't like it. I would look and see who viewed it and didn't say nothing. And that stuff would mess me up, right? Because I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do so much for so many people. I'm like, you can't even share my stuff, right? And it used to bother me. But let me tell you how I wised up. I started really thinking. And I'm like, God does want you to be a part of a community, right? That's why going to church and stuff is so important, right? Because you need to be around like-minded individuals, right? But God also wants you to be able to do it for yourself. You see, once you get right with yourself, once you're comfortable with yourself, you stop focusing on, like you'll be praying, right? God, I just need help to get this business off the ground and this, that, and the other, right? But once you become focused on yourself, you stop worrying about them, right? You stop worrying about them who not supporting, and your prayer changes. You start praying about, God, send me who I need to support. And sometimes when God sends you who you need, it doesn't look like anybody else around you. It's not family. It's not friends. It's someone who stumbled across your content because God sent them. But when you're so focused on them that didn't, you miss out on the blessing. I have been in positions, like I said, I started saying, right? Like that stuff bothered me. But what I wasn't focused on was those messages that was coming to me that I didn't know. I didn't know them. So meanwhile, I'm focusing on them and I'm not focused on who God sent. Think about that. When you have an idea, when you say, okay, I want to get this business off the ground, I want to, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other, right? One of the first mistakes that you make is you talk too much to begin with. And once you start talking and you're like, okay, you know, I want to do this, and you start telling your vision to the wrong people, you will mess around and throw that whole vision away. Because you are telling it to people who's not on the same path. And that's when we always say, like I said, I'm coming back to I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. But what are you doing in return? What are you doing in return? So meanwhile, you done told your vision to somebody who don't believe you in the first place, and you become bitter, right? And when you become bitter, bitterness is fueling you for your quote unquote success. When you obtain, you know what I'm saying, a different level of success, that's why you run to social media and you got to tell the world, yeah, I did this, that, and the other. This is for my haters and this is that and the other. See, when what is fueling you is bitterness, even when you obtain stuff, you will still be broken. Because you're allowing what they didn't do to fuel you. I've had people in my life that I could have said yes to 100 times, but that 101 time that I say no, oh, I'm everything in the book. Oh, I'm all sorts of stuff, right? Like then they saying all of this, that, and the other, right? But in this age of 45, I'm at that level now to where I'm like, listen, you can say whatever it is you want to say about me. There's nothing that you can say that I don't believe about myself. That's where I'm at with it now. And what I'm understanding and learning is that relationships are transactional. So if I'm praying to God for certain things in my life, I got to look at myself and say, well, what am I doing to obtain it? What am I doing? Right? Even my kids, you know, I was talking to my son and he was telling me that it was some video game he wanted. And he's like, Dad, can I have this video game, this, that, and other? And I'm like, well, what have you done to get it? Oh, well, I had cleaned this up because I told you. So that's not even transactional. I told you to do something. I'm your father. You're going to do it. But what have you done that's going to move me to get you something that you want? Because this has to be transactional. See, I'm going to do everything that you need to sustain. I'm going to feed you. But when you want something outside of that, what have you done to get it? I tell my kids all the time, right, on the honor roll. And, you know, sometimes like, especially my youngest, he'll be like, it's progress note, it might say a C. And I'm like, what the heck is a C? Well, it's almost a B. But it's not a B. But it's almost a B. And I said, okay, so you asked me for a video game. What about if I go in the store, I let you hold it, you looking at it, and then we get up to the line and I say, put it back. You almost got it. You see, the relationship has to be transactional. So I just wanted to get this out right. It's a whole bunch more that I can say, but I just want to focus on how so many people are just entitled. Because you got it, they automatically assume they got it. But they have not done anything. You know how many times I've talked to people and, you know, you help people, right? And this I used to tell my grandmother this all the time, right? You know, she never wanted anybody to hurt this, that, and other. And one time we had a conversation, and this was the last couple of months of her life. And we were talking, and I think I said this before, and I said, Ma, you love to a fault. You see, because the way you love, you don't want nobody around you to hurt. But the way God is set up, sometimes you have to hurt, because sometimes you have to be put in a position that the only other choice that you have is to look up. You see, if every time you need $20, somebody's giving it to you, well, then you don't know what it's like to not have. Every time you need a ride to this, that, and other, you can pick up hey, I need a ride, this, that, and other, blah, 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 blah. But that same person that you asking for a ride has provided you a way to get your own car. Hey, listen, you need to get this job. You need to go to work every day, this, that, and that. But they don't want to hear that. You know why? Because they always have an option. And I told my grandma, I said, listen, it has to come a point in time that you love them enough that you get out of God's way. You see, you've been praying for them their whole life, but you got to step back and say, God, I give it to you. I give it to you. And for a lot of us, we love so hard, we don't want to see them hurt. With my kids, I tell them all, listen, I'm going to be there. You know I'm going to be there. But if you get into some mess that you wiggled yourself in, you got to wiggle yourself out of it. Now, I'm not going to let you bust your head wide open, but you're going to have some scars, because scars is what makes you. Scars is what makes you. Everything that I have went through in my life, there has been a learning lesson in them. It's been a learning lesson. Like I said, I've come a long, long way, because I now don't even focus on the them, and I focus on who. And the who is who God sends to you to accomplish anything that you need to be done. So anyways, man, like I said, I can go on. And if y'all want me to expand on that, just let me know and I'll expand on it. But y'all have a blessed day.
Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.